LSU football reports this week for fall camp. Football's finally here.
It's about time. From the newly renovated Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, this is the Sports Report.
Football's finally in the air. We are back for another episode. We are on location. For those of you that don't know exactly where we're at, if this stadium doesn't look familiar to you, that's understandable because it is newly renovated here on this in this end zone right here. I'm Paul. He's Chris. We're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We're going to do a little previewing of your favorite team, the LSU Fighting Tigers.
Absolutely. It's going to be an interesting year, Paul, to say the least. A lot of youth everywhere, especially on offense. Returning 6 defensive starters, most of those guys in the defensive secondary. It's gonna be a fun year.
Les Miles returns to Baton Rouge for his 10th season at the helm. Unbelievable! It's already been 10 years.
That's crazy to think about. It actually kind of seems almost just like yesterday when we were playing Arizona State in Tempe for his first game ever, which is probably the hardest debut as an LSU coach.
Which would have been here had it not been for Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Let's not go. Let's get right into it. They open up on September the 30th. What was it?
August 30th.
Did I say September? I'm so excited.
It's all good.
August the 30th.
Football's back, baby.
27 days away in Houston, Texas, against the number 14th ranked team in the country, the Wisconsin Badgers.
That's going to be a good game. It's going to be Big Ten power and speed versus SEC power and speed. And I know you and I both know that's two completely different things, but it's going to be a little bit of a feeling out period for LSU's offense and defense, trying to stop that Wisconsin rushing attack, which is very prolific last year, and then trying to get the offense on their feet and grounded early in the game.
Let's keep going. 2 non-conference games the next 2 weeks against Sam Houston State and Louisiana Monroe. Again, LSU always seems to have a Louisiana directional school on the schedule every year.
Well, I mean, it's nice that we play state schools. I would much rather play guys along the lines of like Tulane or UL, kind of like the upper tier.
What, the I-10, the Battle of I-10 here?
Why not? I mean, LSU
or the Tiger Rag in Tulane's case.
Exactly. I mean, LSU and Tulane had a great rivalry, and UL hates us. That's always a fun game.
LSU opens up conference play on September the 20th at home against the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, who are much improved in their own respect, looking to finally beat LSU for the first time since the Bill Clinton administration.
Yeah, and a lot of pundits are thinking that might happen this season. I mean, I'm sorry. Anybody who comes into this gorgeous stadium, it's going to be, 102,000 this season? It was tough before. It's going to be tougher now.
On the road, October the 4th and October 11th, back-to-back weeks on the road in the SEC. Not always an easy thing to do.
Never an easy
Auburn
thing to do.
and Florida in back-to-back weeks. Auburn coming off of a heartbreaking national championship game loss to Florida State.
Yeah, they're going to be a very good football team. They were last year. I mean, we were their only stumbling block last year here in a downpour. It was a great game. They're going to be improved. Florida also has to be much improved from last season because that was just a god-awful showing by Muschamp's crew last season. 3
straight home games next on the schedule, Kentucky and Ole Miss. Ole Miss looks to be looking to take the next step in their journey to finally get to Atlanta for the SEC championship game.
And this season might be y'all's best to do that if there's ever been one recently. However, on homecoming, y'all got to come to this house. It's going to be a loud, raucous game. It's going to be a classic. You and I were discussing off camera, too. During the Miles years at LSU, almost every LSU Ole Miss game, with the exceptions of 2008 and 2011, have been great ones.
Right. Bye week, and then again at home against the Alabama Crimson Tide. We all know how last year's game turned out for LSU in Tuscaloosa.
We do. It's going to be senior day. This place will be full. This place will be loud. It's going to be a great game.
And then you finish up the season the next week against Arkansas on the road, and then you have a bye week before you have to go on Thanksgiving night to College Station against the Aggies of Texas A&M, who are without Johnny Manziel.
Without Johnny Football, we've won in College Station before. That's going to be a good game, especially a Thanksgiving night game, which is going to be the new tradition now, apparently. Instead of having it be in Arkansas, it's going to be A&M.
Well, then that also takes away from the Ole Miss Mississippi State Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving night. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
We still have football on Thanksgiving night, whether it be NFL or college football. All right,
either way, football's back.
Okay, let's go through some intangibles for LSU. You have 14 returning starters, 8 on offense, 6 on defense, but even with 8 returning starters on offense, the skill positions are going to be your issues.
The skill positions are going to be the issues. I mean, we're replacing every starter we had at a skill position last year. We lost one of our best quarterbacks in Mettenberger. We lost the best tandem receivers in the country, Beckham and Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. We lost Jeremy Hill, who was a great running back in his own right. And replacing those guys isn't going to be easy, but Coach Miles brought in the talent to do so, and I mean, he brought in some talent.
He definitely did, with a top 5 recruiting class that includes, like you mentioned, Leonard Fournette, Malachi Dupree, and Trey Quinn.
Yeah, those guys are going to be looking to contribute early. And like you and I had a discussion earlier, freshmen can contribute in this league. Talk about Laquan Treadwell, one of your guys from Ole Miss last year, had a great season. Who says Malachi Dupree or Trey Quinn can't do that, especially with the offense that we're going to be running? And Fournette, as special as he is, he's going to contribute. You know he is.
A couple of things here. My concern with LSU, and it'll be an interesting one to say the least to see what happens, is this is a football program that averaged 35.8 points a ball game last year and was the first team. I don't know if you realize this, Mr. LSU. First team in Southeastern Conference football history to have a 3,000-yard passer, 2 1,000-yard receivers, and a 1,000-yard rusher.
I actually did know that. However, we were the first team in the SEC to have 2,000-yard receivers in the same season since Florida did it, I believe, in 2006. I believe it was.
And all of that production gone.
The linchpin that helped all that production and coached it all is Cam Cameron. He's the crazy guy behind the Mad Hatter calling the offense, and I think without him at the helm of this offense, with all this youth, we might be in trouble, but he's the one that gives me the hope that he's going to be that steadfast leader that can show this group the right way.
Let me ask you this. I mean, you had 3 tough losses last year against Georgia, Ole Miss, and Alabama.
We did.
Georgia's not on the schedule.
Nope.
You still have to face those foes from the West, Ole Miss and Alabama. What does LSU need to do to avenge those losses against those 2 highly competitive football programs?
We just need to play like we're capable of playing. We've always been a pound you in the face, wear you down, make you submit kind of team. This season, with the more athletic quarterbacks and the dual threat quarterbacks that we have that are going to be competing for that job, it's going to be a little bit more speed and misdirection plus that power game. And also, both of them can throw. We've got the receivers that catch the ball. We've got the tight ends that can catch the ball. So it's play our game, don't get too fancy, and just be who we are. We're going to have the home crowd behind us in 2 of those games. I mean, I think I like our chances in both those games. To quote Coach Miles, I like us.
Special teams. We don't talk about special teams enough, but you have both your kicker and punter returning.
We do.
And those are 2 guys that really help when you think about it. Colby Delahousie, the place kicker,
he only missed 1
13 of 14 field goals, and he went 56 for 57 on PATs. I mean, that's a lot of production that you are going to have back in terms of putting points up on the board.
Absolutely. We're going to have him back. If he plays as well as he did last season, he could actually be a Groza finalist this season for the best kicker in the country. Mm-hmm. We're also getting Jamie Keene back, the Aussie Rules punter. He's no Brad Wing, but, I mean, when he wants to put the ball inside the 10-yard line, he can do it.
He put 18 punts inside the 20, and he only had 4 touchbacks. That's last season.
I mean, that's the type of special teams we've come to expect under Les Miles.
And you're going to have games, and it happens in the SEC, where field position is going to dictate the outcome of a football game.
That's every game.
When you have a punter like Jamie Keene, Brad Wing was notorious for doing that, of making that ball stop on a dime. Mm-hmm. If Jamie Keene can learn how to do that, it'd be even better production than what he had last season.
Absolutely. I mean, the field position is always a big thing, and then when you can flip field position like that and put the other offense inside their own red zone, it's tough in any conference to be able to do that. So if Keene can hone in and be a little more consistent than he was last year. Last year he did shank some punts and he wasn't as good of a year as he wanted. But, I mean, if he can be consistent, he could be great.
Let's go back to the schedule. We're going to start wrapping things up here with a preview. I know you are as LSU through and through as anybody that I know. But take the purple and gold glasses off.
Yeah.
Vegas has put an over-under on LSU at 9 wins. Is that attainable with this football team? And what do you think the Tigers are going to do this season?
9 wins is absolutely attainable for this football team. If you were to ask me over under 9 wins, I say over, because you and I have had this conversation many times. On talent alone, with the guys on this roster,
LSU can win at least 8 games on talent alone.
Absolutely. 8 to 10 games on talent alone. I think we win 10 this season. I'm not going to say we're going to be one of the 4 in the first college football playoff. I'm not even going to say we're going to be in Atlanta for the SEC championship game. We can contend for both of those spots, but at this point, I say we probably win about 10 games, and hell, Cotton Bowl with this team wouldn't be a bad thing to go.
10-2 would get you in probably even a better bowl game
probably
than a Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
If you ask me, looking at it, I say LSU with the 9 wins is probably right where I think they're going to be. I think your problem spots are going to be against the tougher SEC opponents like an Auburn, like a Florida, like an Ole Miss, like an Alabama, and Texas A&M to an extent. Now, those are 5 games where I'm not saying LSU is going to lose all 5 of those.
Right.
LSU may win all 5 of those. If they win all 5 of those, then they have a great
Well, if we win all 5 of those, then I say we're in Atlanta.
You're going to be in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be a hiccup along the way. There's going to be some hiccups along the way.
Well,
there always seems to be that hiccup every year.
Well, it's not just always that hiccup with us. I mean, it happens with a lot of guys. And I mean, it's bound to happen with the youth that we have, but the senior leadership that we have on this team is going to be key. DJ Walter's that outspoken leader on defense in the linebacking core. He'll be able to get those guys lined up correctly. You have Terrence McGee and Connor Neighbors and Kenny Hilliard on the offensive side of the ball, plus Lael Collins, who all of which can get those guys knocked up and not knocked up, but get them lined up in the right spot and get them hyped to play those games. And they can also bring them down to the level and say, hey guys, we've been here before. Kenny Hilliard and Terrence McGee saw that 2011 season. They were there on the roster.
Right.
They know what it takes to get there.
First game of the season is not going to be an easy one against Wisconsin,
No, it's
and
not.
its defense is going to probably have to dictate where that game goes, as they will for the other 5 games that I mentioned. And that defense, before we don't want to forget the defense, Danielle Hunter and Jamarie Rasco, along with corners Tre'Davious White and Rashard Robinson, are really going to be your catalysts on that defense.
Absolutely.
Again, going back to the schedule, I think 9 wins is right where LSU's probably going to end up, in my opinion. Capital One Bowl, Cotton Bowl seems to be a good fit for LSU with this football team, this version of the Tigers. And I only say that because you don't have you're losing all of that production that we mentioned earlier with Mettenberger, the Beckham, Landry, and Jeremy Hill. Anything more than 9 wins, I think, is overachieving.
Anything more than 9 wins with this young team could be considered a colossal success.
And it keeps fans, I think 9 wins or more will definitely keep LSU fans happy, at least for another year, even if they don't play for a national championship.
I mean, and any realistic fan like myself and the LSU fan base really can't expect national championship out of this team right now. But next season after, when all these really talented freshmen coming in this year have a lot of experience and they got some seasoning on them, that team could be dangerous.
Wrap it up for me, Chris. Final thoughts about the upcoming season for the Tigers?
I'm excited. This building's going to be rocking week in and week out. I can't wait. 10 wins seems like a reasonable expectation to me, and let's just go from there.
All right. That's a good way to wrap it up. Again, from the newly renovated Tiger Stadium, they're putting the finishing touches up on this building, which should be ready to go on September the 6th when Sam Houston State comes to town for the home opener against the Bayou Bengals. I'm Paul, he's Chris, and for everybody that works behind the scenes here at the Sports Report, there's not many of them, but you know who you are. This has been another episode of our show. We'll see you next time as we preview the school up north, the Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss Rebels.
Stay tuned, everybody. Thank you for joining us.